Chodesh Tarotai. Let's try one more time. We're going to talk about the laws of Besamim, laws of Shabbat, Havdala. So I want to tell you a couple of things, right? Number one, that the Besamim that we bless on the for Havdala, the best Besamim that you can use is Hadas. That's what it says in the Shulchan Aruch. Right? What is Hadas? You know what I'm talking about? Hadas? This is one of the species that we have in the lulav, right? Exactly. The one that smells good, That's the one you're supposed to use. That's the best thing to use, if you can find that. The problem is, we don't really have this, all year round. We don't really, we don't get it. So it's not possible for us, to do it this way. So this is the reason why, most of us, you don't see nobody uses it, because we don't have it. It says in the Ramah, by the way, exactly about this point. He writes that the Hadas, the Ashkenazim, they don't use it. What's the reason why? So he says, because the ones that we get, when they were living in Europe, we're talking about, they were not fresh, they were dry. So when they get dry, they lose their smell, So this is also, right, another thing, it has to be fresh hadas. Baruch Hashem, for Sukkot, we get fresh one, nice, good quality, we get, but not all year round you're going to get fresh, hadas like that, So that's the reason why we don't use it. You don't see anybody using hadas. But if you can, if you can find it and it's a nice fresh one with a good smell, this is the best one. By the way, I see also in the Zohar Kadosh, I saw that he says there, the hadas is the best for the besamim. What's the bracha for hadas? Boreh atzeb, right? Atzeb besamim, right? Because it comes from the tree. Am I right? Atzeb besamim.
It's a leaf, no?
Huh?
What's hadas? Hadas, it's like
the lulav, right, has 4 species, right? The one that smells good, that's the hadas.
Look like eye. That's one.
Whatever you want to call it, it's got leaves, right? Alim, like hadas. Explain to him what it is.
It's fine.
Okay, so that's hadas, So as we said, right, only if you can get it, but not always. So that's why we don't know. You don't see nobody using it. What do we use the Sfaradim, more than anything else? Most of us, we use the tziporen, right, which is the cloves, right? That's what they call it in English. Tziporen is in Hebrew, right, which has a nice smell. It's one of the spices of the right incense of the ketoret, right? Hatzori ve'atziporen, right? Huh? So that's one of the spices of the ketoret. It's a nice, beautiful smell, So that's why they use it in the ketoret, and that's why we like to use it also for the for the Havdalah. So the good thing with this one, is that it lasts a long time. Like you close it up, and the smell goes a long time. This is why it's good to use that. It's very convenient. So this also, right? The minhag is by the Sfaradim. The Ashkenazim not like this. I'll explain to you what the difference is. The Ashkenazim, on the tziporen, they make boreh mineh besamim. You know what I mean? Because they say it's not really a tree, it's not really, they make mineh besamim. But we make boreh atzeh besamim, because it's really a tree, this thing. According to our custom, so therefore we say boreh atzeh besamim for tziporen, for cloves. This is what we do, So if you can find that, that's really good, because it has a beautiful smell. But the truth is, you can use anything, whatever is nice smell, whether it's cinnamon, you can use, right? Things like this, nice smell, also, right? A lot of things have good smell, but it depends, right? What it is, where it grows, and accordingly, that's the bracha you make. That's the blessing you make according to where it grows. If it grows on a tree, we say boreh atzeh besamim, right? Atzeh besamim. If it grows on the ground, boreh isbeh besamim, right? Isbeh means grass. It's grass of the ground. That's what we make on the grass. There are also some good things, that are growing on the ground. Like for instance, nana, right? Menta. The rabbi sometimes bring this, right? He used to bring in the old days, for the shul. He used to bring. So a lot of people. Sorry.
Not the season right now.
Right, not the season. Okay, but in Israel, they have it all year round. You know what I mean? They have it all the time, so you can buy anytime.
They do sell.
They do sell, yeah.
But not in,
But it has to have a good smell. That if it has no good smell, what do you need it for, right? What's the purpose of it? There's no purpose of it. It has a nice, good smell. That's also nana, right? But nana, the bracha is Borei Isbe Besamim. Why? Because it's not on the tree. It grows on the ground. Like Isbe. If it's something which is not on the ground and not in the tree, then what? Borei Mine Besamim. That's what we make. Like Mine. Mine covers everything, like just like in foods, right? Shehakol covers everything, right? Also here, Mine Besamim covers everything for the Besamim. So you can, but the truth is, right, that there's a rule like this in Halakha, which says that it's adif, it's always better to make bracha mevureret. What does that mean? A specific bracha, which is only for this type. So it's always better to do, if you know, right, that it goes on the ground, to do isbeh, or it grows on the tree, it's better to say atzeh, and not to say mine. Why? Because mine is general, for everything, but this is more specific. So if you know which one it is, make the specific one. If you're not sure, so do borei mine besamim, you don't know, right? You don't want to make a mistake. That's the thing, But the Ashkenazim, they have this custom now, for a long time already, that they make borei mine besamim on everything. Mine besamim. They don't do isbeh, they don't do atzeh. Why? Lama? What's the reason why? You know what the reason is? Because they say, we're not sure which one is atzeh, which one is isbeh. We're not sure, so sometimes a person can make a mistake. So therefore, we're going to say on everything, borei mine besamim. This is what they do, the Ashkenazim, just to be sure, on the safe side. This is not our custom. That's not the way we do, If you know for sure what it is, then you make the right bracha for the Besamim. Okay, very good. Another interesting thing, right, about the laws of Havdala is that if you don't have, let's say, right at home, Besamim, so then what do? Can you make Havdala without Besamim, or you gotta go buy in the store?
Sometimes I smell ground cumin.
Cumin, right? Yeah, cumin is very nice. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So, what's the rule? Not everybody likes cumin, but if you like it, you like it,
No, ground one is smelling.
Okay.
And it's what?
Right. It's a little bit pungent,
What's
But
the bracha for it?
Cumin.
It's a milk.
It's from the ground. It's isbeh. Yeah. So, as we said, right? What about if you don't have any? You don't have any besamim. What do? You should go to the store and buy. So Halacha says, Shulchan Aruch, you don't have to go looking for it. Go here, go to your neighbor, call the rabbi. Hello, rabbi. You have some besamim. You don't have to go to the shul, open the door, and look for besamim in the shul. You don't have to do that. So meaning what? The rabbis didn't obligate you, so much, for this mitzvah. If you have it, you have it. If not, just make it without. That's what it says in the Shulchan Aruch, You don't have to go so crazy with it, And why is that? The reason is because, it's not the most important thing, it's not like, the essence of the Havdala. It's not like that. The Besamim. It's not so important, By the way, what's the reason why we make Besamim? What's the reason? You know what the reason is, right?
We letting our neshama go is a nice smell.
Yeah, you're saying something, right? I just have to explain a little bit. I have to explain it. So the thing is like this, right? The reason why we do is they say, right, the Chazal, that on Shabbat a person gets neshama yetera, right? Special neshama, additional neshama for Shabbat. You know that, right? Every Shabbat you get this neshama yetera. That's why you enjoy, to eat good food, all these things. You enjoy everything. Why? It's like, because they're amplified, the neshama amplifies everything. This is the reason why you enjoy everything. On Shabbat, when you have neshama yetera, you enjoy everything. On weekdays, you can't enjoy like that, Like there's a story like this brought down in the Gemara, One time, they say Rabbi Nasi, right, invited somebody, for Shabbat. I think it was a goy, He invited some goy, right? And gave him, some nice food, whatever, gave him. So this goy, he says, wow, he says, I've tasted this dish many times, but it never had taste like this. Never delicious like that. So what the rabbi told him was, he says, you know why? He says, because we put a special spice, inside. So he told him, what is the spice called? So he says it's called Shabbat. Oh. So, right, that's what it means, right? That in other words, because of the Shabbat, the food tastes better. You know, you don't get the same taste on any other day. You know what I mean? Only on Shabbat you get that taste. Why? Because of Neshama Yetera. You know, that's the thing, right? So, there's also another pshat, by the way, there in this Gemara. The pshat is also another way to understand this. He told them we have a spice, you know, tavlin, which is called Shabbat. So which spice was he talking about? Some say it's a real spice. He wasn't talking about Oneg Shabbat. He wasn't talking about Neshama Yetera. What's the spice that's called Shabbat? Anybody know? You know which one it is? Dill. Right? You know what's dill, right? That's what they call it? Okay, good. Right? So they used to use this spice, you know, for Shabbat. It gives a beautiful taste of the food. You know? We Georgians, by the way, we like to use dill a lot, you know, for all kinds of things, you know, for fish, all kinds of dishes, you know, for meat, we use dill everywhere, you know, so it's a big thing by us, you know. So that's what they used to use, you know, according to this, you know, that's why that spice is called Shabbat. Because they use it for Shabbat to give a special taste to the food. Okay. Anyway, right, getting back to what we said. So, what's the thing, right, that once the Shabbat is over, the Neshama Yetera leaves, right? It goes out. That's it. So then, right, the Neshama, you know, you feel like, you know, you're lacking something, you know, you lost something, you know. So you get like depressed, you know, there's a depression there that comes in. You know what I mean? Depressia. I lost, you know, I feel like I lost something. You know, so in order to bring back your Neshama, you know, to bring you back to normal, that's why the Rabbi said, you know, smell Besamim, so it can come back to life a little bit. You know, because you feel so down when Shabbat goes out. This is how we bring you back to life. This is the reason why we bless on Besamim, you know, after Shabbat goes out. So, by the way, they say, you know, the Chazal, something interesting about this. They say that, you know, the scientists also talk about this, you know, if you go to school, right, you learn that the human being has 5 senses, right? Chushim, you know, we call this in English, in Hebrew, Chushim, right? Senses, 5. So, you know, like we have touch, right? That's one, right? And then we have smell, right? That's one of the senses. But here's the thing, you know, they say the Chazal, that even though we have 5 senses, you know, we have touch, we have this, we have that, but the only sense, right, which goes into the neshama is the besamim, right, is the smell. The other ones don't go to the neshama. It's in the body more, you know, it's more physical. But this, you know, smelling is spiritual. You know, so it goes much deeper into the neshama than all the other senses. So it's a very special thing, you know, to smell something nice. That's why, you know, we always want to have, like if you ever notice, by the way, you know, we always want to have like a, you know, good smell, you know, everywhere we go. In the shul, in the house, you know, you don't want to have a bad smell. Because when you have a bad smell, you know what it does, right? It kills the neshama. It harms the neshama. You know? So you shouldn't be in a place where there's a bad smell there, you know? Get out of there, you know? Go somewhere else. Or spray some, you know, Lysol. Do something, right, to fix it. Because when there's a bad smell, it hurts your neshama. You know? It causes damage. This is the reason why, also, you know, when we do Arvit, right, Moti Shabbat, we say, right, that the Gehinam opens up again when the Shabbat is over, right? The Neshamot have to come back there to Gehinam. So what happens is, you know, they start the fire of the Gehinam. It says in Zohar Kadosh, right? Back up. Because the fire is extinguished on Shabbat. No fire on Shabbat, right? Asur. So what happens is they start up the fire, and that fire, right, brings like, you know, ashes, you know, bad smell. To us also, you know, you know, so we feel it. And this is the reason why a person needs to, you know, also, another reason why he needs to, you know, to do Arvit, you know, and do Havdala and all these things. Because you want to get rid of that bad smell from Gehinam. You know, that's another thing. So when you do Besamim, right, that also helps you with that. So that's why you want to do, you know, Havdala like relatively early, you know, not to wait too long, you know, too late. Like for instance, you know, let's say a person goes home, right, from shul. And, you know, he says, you know what, I'll wait, you know, I'll do some things first, you know, and then I'll do Havdalah, right? You know, I'll do first this, and then I'll do that, do some chores, you know, clean up a little bit. This is no good. when you go home, right, make Havdala right away. Because this is what takes away the bad smell of the Geinam, that they open up the fire there because of the Besamim. So you need that.
You're showing your finger upstairs like the Gehinnom is over there. Is it over there or over there?
Yeah. Look what he's asking. Look at this question. Oh my God. This is a very deep question what you're asking, So it's like, yeah. You know what it says in the Zohar Kadosh? Let me tell you a secret, Shh, don't tell anybody. We're on Facebook, right? Don't tell anybody. You know what it says in the Zohar Kadosh? It says that there's two Geinam. There's one in the ground, in the Adama, and there's one also in Shamayim. There's two. Same thing, by the way, with Gan Eden. Gan Eden also there's two. There's one in the ground, Adama, and there's one in Shamayim. Two Gan Eden. Yes. So Geinam, there's two. So let me tell you a secret. You know what it says? The Goyim, right? The of the Avodah Zarah, they go to the lower Geinam, in the ground. That's where they go. But the Jews, who are sinners, they go to in Shamayim. They don't go down there. It's not the same Geinam. Their Geinam and our Geinam is not the same. Our Geinam is spiritual in Shamayim. Their Geinam is in the earth. You see it, right? That it's Emet. Now the scientists, they know, right? That inside the earth, there's a big fire over there, It's very, very hot. They say, that inside the earth, it's as hot as the sun. Same heat as the sun. Can you imagine such a thing like this? There's a mamash Geinam down there. Now they know. Before they were like, what are you talking about? What Geinam? Now you see there is Geinam. Right?
No Shabbat over there?
I'm sorry?
No Shabbat over there?
No Shabbat over there. Only in Shamayim. You're right. That's it. You figured it out. That's it. So here's the thing, right? That I have to tell you. So anyway, Rabbi, when you do Besamim, you're also helping with this. That's bad smell that comes out. It's something spiritual, and it harms you. So do Havdala right away. Don't wait, Don't say, I'm going to do first this. First I'll go to the bank, I'll go to the store. Then I'll go here. What are you doing? But first do Havdala. It's the first order of business, to get rid of the bad smell. So as we said over time, right? As we mentioned, that when it comes to, right, if you don't have Besamim, it's not that important, So you can just make Havdala without. You don't have to go looking for it, Go to the Rabbi, go to Boris, go to Amnon, go to Amnon. Right? Go here. You don't have to go. Don't come to me either. Don't come to me. I don't need you. Make Havdala, that's it. Right? You don't have to go to your neighbor. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ואמן. לפיכך כאשר אומר הקדוש ברוך הוא לעשות כל ישראל, לפיכך קיבל להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.